Is Keir Starmer's quiet push to rejoin the EU betraying the majority Brexit vote, or is it a bold step forward? In this video, we look at a clip from David Bull's Talk TV discussion with political strategist Lauren McEvatt, where they address Starmer's EU ambitions and the escalating tensions with the ECHR. If you love diving into political issues and enjoy hearing a principled take on them, then hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe to our channel to join the conversation. Let's get a bigger discussion going.
Oh yes, Keir Starmer has promised that his plan to reset relations with the European Union is going to be good for the borders, despite warnings that actually what it means is tens of thousands of people are going to come to this country. And we're already under enormous pressure in terms of infrastructure and schools and hospitals and doctors and dentists and all the rest that you know about it. Now, the government is locked in negotiations. So these negotiations work like this. The EU says jump, and Starmer says how high. That's how this works. And then he's going to sign a deal tomorrow or late tonight. This is all about young Europeans coming into this country to live and to work. So the EU is pushing for this thing called the Youth Mobility Scheme. This is for kids between 18 and 30. They want them to stay in this country for as long as 3 years. But as I said yesterday, we don't exactly have a great track record at keeping track on these people and then chucking them out of the country at the end of their visas, even though the United States is very good at that, by the way. Now, MPs in Labour's Red Wall are actually saying this is a reversal of Brexit, which I would agree with. And what they're saying is the scheme could open the floodgates to tens of thousands more people flooding into the country, including people who have these people who've gone into Europe illegally and then have freedom of movement to come back into this country. I mean, the whole thing is absolutely nuts. And at the same time, how do you reconcile Keir Starmer, who says, I'm going to be tough on immigration, the 10 million people or 7 million people that have come here in 10 years, and the 12,000 people who've come here illegally already this year, despite him smashing the gangs and stopping the boats or wherever else maxim that comes out of his mouth next. And then you've got Sadiq Khan weighing in saying this is going to be great because it will solve some of the issues in London, particularly those unfilled places. Well, what actually about making sure that carers are paid properly so that young British people would take those jobs as well. Also, it gets worse because we are going to concede to the EU on food standards, on sanitary and phytosanitary standards, and our fish are going to be nicked by the French. I mean, whichever way you dice and slice this, it's terrible.
This isn't good, no.
Oh, that's not good. Is that political speak?
It's my very diplomatic approach to Sunday morning.
This is not good.
This is not good. And I think this comes off the back of Starmer trying to deal with some of those concerns about migration by announcing various things in Albania earlier this week, and now we're going to, we're going to be able to...
Even though Albania said no.
Even though Albania said no, we're going to be able to deport people.
That is priceless.
We're not going to be able to deport people.
Yeah.
Yvette Cooper saying, it's ridiculous that someone can stay here because the human rights law says that they need access to be able to cut their child's hair even though they've committed all these crimes. That's not going to change, because it's the ECHR that is governing how our judges are allowed.
ECHR.
This is how our judges are allowed to deal with cases like this.
No,
They're not just making stuff up on the bench.
They're going to write a stiff letter to the judges, aren't they?
Yes,
a very stiff
how
letter.
dare you? How dare you
not
deal with the human rights law that is before you? How very dare you? Which is ludicrous.
Yeah.
Judges are working with the law as is provided, and we put ECHR into human rights law in the United Kingdom, in England and Wales, and that is why judges have to behave the way that they do.
So now, Nigel Farage has warned Keir Starmer he will face the wrath of voters in traditional Labour heartlands if he delivers what is being called an abject surrender. And also, I think he's absolutely right. And I mentioned earlier that when I've been up in the Red Wall, people are absolutely livid. They've been ignored by Westminster. They see their towns and cities being decimated. I've been out on the campaign trail in Lincolnshire, no less. Migrants everywhere. Just undocumented migrants in the middle of the town centre, up to absolutely no good. There is no doubt about that. And of course, people are seeing the decimation of their high streets. They don't recognise the country they live in, and they're angry.
Yes, and it's not surprising. The decision that was made by the previous government to begin to mandate that arrivals were placed not just in London, not just in coastal areas, but around the country, has radicalised large chunks of the country about this issue like never before.
Would you have kept them all in London?
No, absolutely not. I think it was the right thing to do, because I think spreading the problem gives an idea of how big the problem is, and will revolutionise voters into saying, I'm sorry, I don't accept this. This is terrible.
off. Also, the Sunday Telegraph, let's just talk about this. Former asylum seekers charged with spying for Iran. I mean, you can't make this up. 3 Iranian former asylum seekers have appeared in court accused of spying for Tehran. They were granted leave to remain. Let me say that again. They were granted leave to remain in this country. They arrived in this country and took advantage of our hospitality. They arrived on small boats. They were charged with engaging in conduct likely to assist a foreign intelligence service following an investigation by counter-terrorist police. This is Mustafa Sepavand, 39, Farhad Javadi Manish, 44, Shapur Kavali Khani Nouri, 55, all living in London, appearing at Westminster Magistrates Court, flanked by 8 prison officers after being held earlier this month on suspicion of committing offences contrary to the National Security Act. People around the country are going to think we are absolutely blinking nuts. We're allowing anyone to come here, and this is the problem. They're undocumented illegals. They come here, they throw their passports in the sea. We've no idea what they're up to, and now they're spying for Iran, allegedly.
I think if I was a hostile nation, then Britain's soft underbelly of the Channel is exactly how I'd get someone into the country. I think that's exactly how I would approach it, to try and get a spy into the country.
It is extraordinary, and it will make people absolutely
What's absolutely extraordinary, and to give, the services a little bit of credit here, is that they were found.
Yes, and rightly so, yes.
The laws of a sovereign country must be to protect its citizens. There is nothing wrong with getting advice from other groups or bodies, unless it starts negatively impacting the wealth and security of the nation. When that happens, those ideas need to be rescinded, and we must take back control. Why shouldn't a sovereign nation control its borders, decide who enters its land, and when to deport those who break its immigration laws? The ECHR is holding the UK back, tying our hands with laws that block us from securing our borders and deporting those who break our immigration rules. Isn't it time to rescind these harmful restrictions? Isn't it time to break free from the ECHR to protect Britain's sovereignty? And why does Labour every move seem to prioritise foreign interests over the British people? Despite Labour being humiliated in the recent local elections, Keir Starmer keeps racing to push policies further and faster that ignores the needs of the British voters. Does anyone know why he isn't fighting for the British interests? As a leader, you must learn to read the room and listen to the people. It's also your responsibility as a leader to judge if the advice you are receiving is right or wrong. If your advisors want you to push policies that harm instead of help, it's time to fire them, and fast. If you have benefited in any way from this video, please subscribe, like, share, and be sure to leave us a comment.